Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. My name is Julian, and this is the Week 25 Waiver Wire video. If you're still playing fantasy this week, odds are you're doing pretty well. That means that you probably are in your fantasy finals, or at least the fantasy semi-finals. So if you're here, guys, congratulations, and I'm going to try to do my best to help you win this week and help you take home that trophy. Now, before we get started, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter. I'm posting some tips there as well to help you guys out, so be sure to do that. My Twitter is Fantasy Tipped. Now, let's jump into the content, and let's start with the schedule for Week 25. And as you can see here, guys, it is your standard Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday off-night schedule. However, on Monday, there is only one game, and that game is Montreal versus Winnipeg. On Wednesday, there are only 4 games, and on Friday, there are only 2, whereas on Sunday, there are 6, so it's a little bit busier, but still an off night. There are a couple teams that have really good off-night schedules for this week, and those teams are Montreal and Winnipeg. Montreal and Winnipeg both play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which are the 3 least busy off nights this week, making them very good teams to have players from this week. Other teams that play on 2 off nights are Florida, New York, Columbus, and Philadelphia. Florida and New York play on Friday and Sunday, whereas Columbus and Philly play on Wednesday and Sunday. So I won't go out of my way to pick up Columbus and Philly players, but if you do have some players from those teams, they're going to come in handy this week for the couple of off nights that they have. And there is one team that has a pretty bad schedule this week, and that's the Vancouver Canucks. They only play 2 games, but their 2 games are early in the week, Tuesday and Thursday. So if you do have a Canuck who's pretty high roster, like an Elias Pettersson or a JT Miller, definitely still keep them in your lineup and play them on Tuesday and Thursday. After Thursday, you can drop them for somebody else that will play a couple of games after that. Now, jumping into some forwards that you can consider picking up for the weekend. Number 1 on the list, I have Cole Caulfield of the Montreal Canadiens. And this is a no-brainer, guys. Cole Caulfield has been great playing on that line with Suzuki. And with the off-night schedule that Montreal has this week, he's an absolute must-add if somehow he's still floating out there on the waiver wire. Then I have Josh Norris, who's been utterly unstoppable lately, playing on the top line in Ottawa with Tkachuk and with Matthew Joseph, and they're just rolling right now. So Norris is definitely a must-add right now as well if he's floating out there. And if you have room on the busy nights, because Ottawa does play on the busy nights this week. Then I have Robert Thomas and Ivan Barbashev of the St. Louis Blues. Thomas plays with Buchnevich and Tarasenko, and Barbashev plays with Kyrou and Shen, both lines that are rolling right now. Both players are playing incredibly well right now. They do play on the busy nights as well, but they do play 4 games this week, so that's pretty good for the Blues. And then I have Dylan Strome of the Chicago Blackhawks, and yeah, the Hawks are coming off a week where they only played 2 games, so he was dropped in quite a few leagues, but he's still playing really well, top line, top power play, and as long as he's rolling, guys, he makes for an excellent ad. Then I have Ryan Johansson, who recently is coming off a hat trick, and over his last 3 games has 4 goals and 2 assists. So he's rolling right now, playing top line with Philip Forsberg, as well as top power play with Forsberg. He's rolling right now, guys. So if he's available, grab him if you can fit him in your lineup, because he's someone who's putting up points right now. Next is my Manscaped must-add player of the video, Jean-Gabriel Pageau. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIPPED. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Now, why is Jean-Gabriel Pageau my Manscaped must-add player of the video? Well, I really do like him for those Friday and Sunday off nights, for one thing. And for the other thing, the guy is rolling right now. He's coming off a hat trick. He's scoring points. He's looking good on his line with Kyle Palmieri, and he's playing on the top power play. So as long as he keeps rolling, Jean-Gabriel Pageau could potentially be a league winner for you, especially playing on those Friday and Sunday off nights to close out your week. He's someone that could definitely really help you out and put some points up for you, and that could be the difference maker. Then I have Jake DeBrusk and Eric Hall. I kind of clumped them together because DeBrusk is playing top line with Marchand and with Bergeron, and Halla is playing on the second line with Taylor Hall. And if Pasternak comes back, he'll be on that line as well. But right now, Pasternak is injured, but Halla is still playing well. So as long as both those guys continue to play well, they're definitely decent ads, but they do play on the busy nights this week. And I have Brendan Gallagher of the Montreal Canadiens, and Like I said, guys, the Habs have a really awesome schedule this week with those Monday, Wednesday, and Friday off nights. So Habs players are really good adds. And right now, Gallagher is rolling, coming back from injury. And he's playing on a pretty decent line with Dvorak and with Joel Armia. And he's also up on the top power play. So as long as he stays hot, guys, he's a pretty good add. And even if he does cool down a little bit, there's not that many amazing Habs to add. And Gallagher is probably one of your best bets for the off nights. Then I have Alex Tuch of the Buffalo Sabres, and he's all the way down to 22% rostered, but he seems to be producing once again on that top line with Tage Thompson and with Jeff Skinner. Jeff Skinner, another guy who definitely could be added if you have room for him in your lineup. They're both guys who have great opportunities and have been producing as of late, so both really, really good adds. Then I have Matthew Joseph of the Ottawa Senators, 18% rostered. And the dude is really balling out right now. He's doing so well on the top line, actually, in Ottawa with Josh Norris and with Brady Tkachuk. Bathurst is actually playing on the second line right now, and Joseph has been producing like crazy. If you guys haven't noticed his production yet, go ahead and check his page in Yahoo or whatever app you use for fantasy, because he's really putting up points right now, and he's being given the opportunity to do so with that deployment. So honestly, he makes for a really good ad if you can fit him in your lineup. Then I have Josh Anderson and Mike Hoffman of the Montreal Canadiens. Both decent options for the off nights. They both play on the second line with Jake Evans. If I had to choose one of them, I would definitely take Hoffman over Anderson, though, because Hoffman is producing, Anderson isn't. And Hoffman's playing on the top power play, whereas Anderson is not. Then I have Paul Stastny and Adam Lowry of the Winnipeg Jets. And once again, guys, Winnipeg is another team that has those really great off nights this week. And if you need the off nights, Stastny and Lowry are excellent adds. And Paul Stastny is someone who's playing on the top line with Ehlers and with Scheifele, so the deployment there is really, really good. And Lowry is playing only on the third line, but he does give you a relatively safe floor with those hits. And he's definitely better than any other Jet out there except for Paul Stastny, that's lower owned. Then I have Christian Dvorak of the Montreal Canadiens. Already mentioned that he plays with Gallagher, and in his last game he played pretty freaking well, so hopefully he can continue that momentum. And Dvorak is someone who also gets top power play time, so there's that upside as well. Then I have Kyle Palmieri of the New York Islanders, and the Islanders do have those off nights Friday and Sunday, so if you want to add him for those games, it's a pretty good idea. He's playing with Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who's just rolling right now, and Palmieri is someone who's doing relatively decently himself. He shoots the puck a decent amount, so he should get you somewhat of a floor, and hopefully he's able to put up some points as well. Then I have Casey Middlestat of the Buffalo Sabres, who have had on this list for quite a few weeks now, and he seems to be doing really, really well. He's getting almost a point per game now, only 3% rostered. So if you can fit this guy in your lineup, go ahead and add him now because he really is doing well. And then I have Rem Pitlick of the Montreal Canadiens, 1% rostered. But he's actually one of my favorite ads this week because he's playing on a line with Suzuki and with Caulfield, and he's playing well. He's putting up points, and those two guys are the guys that you want to be playing with in Montreal. So that deployment's fantastic. He has triple eligibility, and I mean, he's got the off nights, so definitely a solid ad, especially in deep leagues. Then I have Jake Evans, who's also 1% rostered, not as good of an ad as Pitlick, but he does play on the second line with Hoffman and with Anderson, and he has been putting up points as of late. So if you do need someone for the off nights and you're in a really, really deep league, Evans is an option. Moving on to defensemen now, and first on the list I have Jared Spurgeon, who's doing really, really well, up to 60% rostered, so he just snuck into this list. Plays top power play in Minnesota, so you cannot go wrong there. And I have Ben Sherratt of the Florida Panthers, actually managing to put up points pretty frequently in Florida so far, so that's pretty good. And his peripherals are really, really solid as well, so definitely a good ad with Ben Sherratt. Damon Severson still playing top power play in New Jersey and is putting up points. Still a good ad there as well. Matthias Ekholm is someone who's finally starting to put up points. He hasn't been good all year, but finally, last few weeks, he's been pretty decent, putting up peripherals, putting up points. He's someone that I like for the fantasy finals. Ryan Pulock is someone that I like for the fantasy finals. 26% roster only, so he's available in almost 3/4 of leagues, guys. And he's someone who's putting up some solid blocks numbers and is managing to put up a point every couple games as well. Then I have Jake Muzzin of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and in 2 games back, he's put up some really solid peripheral numbers. He's not getting any power play time or anything like that, but he could manage to put up points every few games as well. He's someone who's always managed to do that over his career. And as long as he's putting up those solid peripherals, guys, he's a really good option for the fantasy finals or semifinals, whichever one this week is for you. Then I have Sean Jersey of the Los Angeles Kings. And when he's not putting up points, he's still putting up some really solid peripherals. Last game, he had 5 hits, which is really, really good. And guys, Sean Jersey is a top power play defenseman right now because Doughty is on IR, so he's honestly a really good add. And then I have Nick Leddy of the St. Louis Blues, and with Krug out, Leddy's actually a top power play defenseman right now, and he's only 4% rostered, and he has 4 points in his last 5 games, 3 assists and a goal. That's really, really good. The only thing is he doesn't really put up any kind of peripheral, so if he doesn't put up a point, he's probably not going to do a lot for you. But right now he's rolling, and in deep leagues, if you need someone who's going to probably put up points for you, Leddy is a really good bet right now. And then I have Logan Stanley, who's been putting up some really solid peripherals as of late, so he will give you a safe floor, and that's pretty good for those off nights. And last but not least, I have Chris Weidman of the Montreal Canadiens, and assuming that they don't scratch him again, in his last 6 games played, he actually has 8 points, which is really, really solid. And he's someone that you can consider picking up for those off nights if you're in a really deep league. Jumping into goalies now, and this is a real league winner right here. Carey Price could be back as soon as Monday for the Montreal Canadiens. So if you want some goalie starts for those off nights, and you already have goalies playing on the busy nights, Carey Price should get starts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, assuming that he does come back on Monday. That's something that could really help your team out if you want to try adding Carey Price. Then I have Spencer Knight of the Florida Panthers, 55% owned, and Bobrovsky's been really, really, really bad lately, and Knight's had to come in both of Bobrovsky's last starts. So does that mean Knight gets some more starts? Yeah, it should. Knight could start as many as all 3 of Florida's games next week. Do I think he starts all 3? No, but I think he could start definitely 2 out of those 3 games. Knight's playing really well, but Bobrovsky is not, and therefore Knight is someone that I'm considering for this week. Then I have Cal Peterson of the Los Angeles Kings, and right now he's starting more games than Jonathan Quick, so he should start 2 out of the 3 Kings games next week. Then I have Mike Smith of the Edmonton Oilers, 42% rostered, and right now he is the starting goalie in Edmonton once again. Koskinen got a little sick, and Mike Smith has got some starts, played well, and he's the starter once again. So he's definitely the guy I would roll with in Edmonton, and he's playing well right now, so why not grab him for the fantasy finals, assuming that you can fit him in your lineup. Then I have Anton Forsberg of the Ottawa Senators, playing really, really well right now. He's getting all the starts in Ottawa except for the back-to-back. So if he's available, definitely someone you can consider. Then I have Kevin Lankinen of the Chicago Blackhawks, 30% rostered, and he is the starter in Chicago. Chicago's not a good team. They're losing a lot of games. But Lankinen, over his last 3 starts, has had pretty decent save percentages. So if you don't need wins and you're in like a points-based league where saves is enough for you, Lankinen is definitely an option. Kaapo Kähkönen is actually an option this week because Reimer, if you hadn't heard, was injured in San Jose's last game, and Aiden Hill is still injured as well. So Kähkönen is by default the starter in San Jose going forward, and he could get all of San Jose's games this coming week. Then I have Chris Driedger of the Seattle Kraken, 14% rostered, and he's been playing better than Grubauer overall as of late, although Grubauer is coming off a shutout in his last game, so we'll have to see how that goes down, but Driedger could potentially get 2 out of the 3 Seattle starts. Then I have Karel Vejmelka of the Arizona Coyotes, 13% rostered, and he's the starter in Arizona. Sateri did not play well at all, so Vejmelka's going to get pretty much all the starts going forward, I would imagine. And if that's what you need, Vejmelka's a good option. Same thing with Craig Anderson. He is the starter in Buffalo. He's going to get all the starts going forward except for the back-to-backs. Then I got Anthony Stolarz of the Anaheim Ducks, and he's getting a lot more starts than Gibson lately because Gibson's been playing really, really bad. So honestly, a decent option for the fantasy finals. Then I have Martin Jones and Carter Hart. Philadelphia plays 4 games this week, but actually has 2 sets of back-to-backs, so they'll both get 2 games. I'm not super high on the Flyers, and I don't think they're going to really win any games, but if you need someone for a points-based league, they're okay options. And I have Nico Daws of the New Jersey Devils, and he's the starter in New Jersey, not because he's playing particularly well, just because the other guys are playing even worse than he is. But if you do need a starting goalie, he's available. Then Thomas Greiss seems to be getting about half the games right now in Detroit because Nedeljkovic is not playing well. Greiss is playing a little bit better, and therefore he could start 2 of the games next week. And last but not least, I have Eric Comrie of the Winnipeg Jets, and this could possibly be a league winner for you if he's available in your league, because Winnipeg plays Sunday and Monday, and then they play another set of back-to-backs on Friday and on Saturday this week in week 25. Now, Eric Comrie, every single time he's played this year, has played on the second half of the back-to-back. So you can go ahead and add Eric Comrie right now if you're feeling a little gambly, because Comrie should get the start on Monday against Montreal for Winnipeg. If he does, he'll also start again on Saturday for Winnipeg, and he'll actually get 2 starts next week. And Winnipeg's not exactly the worst team either, so if you want 2 goalie starts next week and there's nobody really available in your league that's half decent, Comrie is better than a lot of the lower owned starting goalies, because Winnipeg's a better team than Detroit or Montreal or New Jersey, right? So he honestly is a good add for this week if you can fit him for those 2 off nights. Now, obviously, there's a chance that Comrie does start on Sunday and not Monday, so you could wait until Hellbuck is confirmed on Sunday to pick him up just to be safe. But Comrie is definitely someone who could be getting 2 starts next week, and someone definitely worth monitoring if you're in the fantasy finals or semifinals and you need some points. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.